Happy Star Wars Day, everybody! Oops. What's up, everybody? Happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you! And also with you. What's up, everyone? Renee here on a Saturday afternoon. Before we get things started here, obviously, I would love to know from all of you, how are you spending your Star Wars Day, your May 4th, and all that? At this point, I feel like it's a mixed bag of just pure on commercialism, Disney and Lucasfilm, just trying to get as much money as they can for their properties and for Star Wars and all that. Yes, there are sometimes news that drops. Today, particularly, we actually have a new trailer for the Acolyte that dropped not too long ago, so I haven't had a chance to see it yet. So I'm going to be watching it for the very first time here on the stream. Speaking of stream, I am now going live on Shorts too. So as always, there are multitudes of ways you can enjoy my streams. If you are comfortable with the traditional, standard format of the live stream, then you are already at the right spot here. But if you are someone who prefers a more vertical version, someone who prefers to be watching it on their phone or on their tablets in a vertical way, very similar to like what you see on TikTok, Instagram, what have you, then you can do so by checking out the vertical stream that is now live on the channel at the same time. It's technology, folks. This is how we do it here. This is how we enjoy our live streaming. But yes, we are here to celebrate all that is Star Wars, talk about some Star Wars related stuff, some memories. And of course, I'm going to be going into the kitchen and making some blue milk. So we'll talk about all that stuff. And, if time permits, and if the mood is right, then we'll go and we'll talk about some of the other related news that has dropped in this past week. Some interesting movie news and industry, pop culture news, all that stuff here. But yeah, Star Wars Day. So I guess, and again, before we go into making the blue milk and all that, which I'm kind of excited for, Star Wars Day started a little early for me and for a lot of you out there, because on Thursday was the public on sale for Star Wars Celebration. Star Wars Celebration is I never really know when they have these things nowadays. I feel like they sometimes have it every year. Sometimes they do it every 2 years. They took last year, it was in Europe. And now they took a break this year because next year they're going to have it in Japan. And, if you've known me for long enough and if you followed me for long enough, you know that I love Japan. I've been to Japan many times. I haven't been to Japan since 2020. I was actually there February of 2020, weeks before all hell broke loose, really, around the world. They were already suffering it from the Rona over there for, I want to say, 2 months. So needless to say, there was no tourism really there. There was some places that were closed, but I still enjoyed my time there. But when I came back to New York, literally a week after I came back, that's when we all went into lockdown. So last time I've been there, it was a different experience than all the other experiences I've had in Japan. Definitely a unique experience. And I, of course, have been wanting to go back ever since. And now is a great time that I feel that I can actually know that I'm going back, because I bought tickets to this damn thing for next year. So I'm definitely going to have to be there. But it's going to be in April next year, Star Wars Celebration in Chiba, which I'm very much excited for. So I guess you could say my Star Wars celebrations for May the 4th started on Thursday. And then In theaters right now, they re-released what was that? The Phantom Menace, because it is also celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. I haven't had a chance to go into the theaters and see it yet, but I know there's a lot of people who are probably spending the day in the theaters rewatching Phantom Menace. Or for some, we always have to think of it this way: there is a generation and will always be a generation of people that have not seen what we've seen. So maybe for many, there are going to be a slew of people going out into the theater, and this could be their very first time watching The Phantom Menace. It could be very much their first time watching anything Star Wars related. And, as an older generation fan, I have to think about that sometimes, where not a lot of people may have grown up with this stuff. Or there's a generation of people who grew up with The Phantom Menace and the prequel trilogies being their first Star Wars. I can't say that because I grew up watching the original trilogy and all. But there is a group of people out there who hold dear and close to their hearts the prequel trilogy. And that's why you are getting a kind of resurgence of the fan base and the popularity of those prequel trilogies, especially now with shows like The Clone Wars, Bad Batch, even some of the Filoni shows right now. They like to throw back a lot to the prequels, because he said it himself that he is a huge fan of the prequels. So there has been a love and I guess, a reviewing of what people thought originally of the prequels. I still think those movies aren't great at all, but I can understand that there are people out there who love it, and there are people who will enjoy it, who still enjoy it, and this is their original trilogy, Star Wars. I don't have to agree with it, but I can at least learn to appreciate it and understand it for the most part. So yeah, so you have the 25th anniversary. What's this? Phantom Menace in theaters now. Also, I heard that in the screening there is an extensive look at the Acolyte, the new series that's coming out on Disney Plus. I know, like I said at the top here, the new trailer for the Acolyte dropped today, and I have it queued up, and I'm ready to react to it live because I haven't had a chance to see it yet. But before we do that, what do y'all think? You all ready to make some blue milk? Let's make some blue milk. I have my kitchen set up and ready to go. So why don't you join me as I head into the kitchen and make some blue milk? Blue milk. But I will say that I won't have any access to the chat, any of the chats right now. So I apologize in advance for that. But I promise that I will go back to the chat and go and look at anything that's come through while during my time in the kitchen. So let's switch things off. Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry. Hopefully you can hear me when I go in there. But I'm coming. I'm getting over there. Give me 1 second. This old raggedy body doesn't move as fast as it used to. All right, I am here. Hopefully you can all hear me. Let me just make sure I check something real quick. All right, I am here. I'm good. I am going to move this just a little bit here, just so it's not like really all up in my face and all that. But again, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I am in my kitchen and I am getting myself ready to make some delicious, or what I hope to be delicious, blue milk. Now, I've never made this before, and I was kind of inspired because of the fact that there's this company called True Moo, and to help celebrate Star Wars Day, May the 4th, all that stuff, they decided to release their blue milk product, which basically what it is, it's 1% low-fat milk, and it's vanilla flavored milk that they happen to color blue to sell to kind of recreate the blue milk and all that that you've seen in the Star Wars movies and what have you. But the one thing I hate about these special product releases is that sometimes they're very limited, and sometimes you cannot find them at all, no matter how hard you try. And I've been to 3 different locations in the last, I want to say 3 or 4 days, and I have not been able to find it at all. You know, you could go to the TrueMoo website, and they list out basically where you could find your products in near your area. You plug in your zip code, and they'll tell you like kind of like the grocery stores or the shops that, you know, I guess carry their product and all that. But really it's hard. It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes, especially with these limited products, and especially when you have such a huge fan base of Star Wars. I'm sure everyone is going out there trying to get their hands on some of this true blue milk, especially since everyone loves celebrating May the 4th, and everyone is, you know, basically having the weekend to themselves to celebrate May 4th and all that. So what better way to do so than getting some official blue milk? So I even went on Instacart to see if there were other locations where I could get some from, and I tried to order it twice, and both times they were also sold out. So I gave up. You know, I said, you know, F that. I'm going to do it myself. You know, if you can't find it, just do it yourself. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my own blue milk. Like I said, I don't have a recipe. I'm doing everything from scratch. But what I have here is food coloring. So you can see here, I have some food coloring. I'll show it here to the camera too. I have some food coloring, so I can get the blue color there. And since it is vanilla milk, I am going to be using some vanilla extract for this to give the vanilla flavor. So I want to show that there. And let me go into the fridge right now. Hopefully I won't knock into my camera here. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. And of course, I have my low-fat 1% milk here, ready to go. Right? So we have our stuff here. We have the milk, we have the vanilla extract, and we have the food coloring. All right. I am going to be using my special Alamo Drafthouse limited edition Force Awakens pint glass here for the blue milk. You could see the nice kind of design. I remember Alamo Drafthouse and Mondo teamed up quite a bit for their products and their releases and all. And they even made glasses to celebrate certain Marvel movie releases, other Star Wars movies, and all that. I don't know if they still do it now. I haven't really seen them advertise it at all. I just want to make sure I'm holding it right. It's hard to know where, you know, things are and all. But yeah, I kind of miss it. And if they have been doing it, I have not been made aware of it. It also kind of reminds me of back in the day when I used to buy the McDonald's or Burger King Star Wars glasses, which I actually do have. I have, believe it or not, my original Empire Strikes Back Star Wars glasses. I know and they were all done from Burger King. And I'll show you one right here. Like, this is the original OG Burger King Star Wars sunglasses from Empire Strikes Back. These are the ones that I grew up with. And I'm so happy I have a full set of these. You know, in my kitchen, in the cupboard, locked away, where no one can use it and all that. But I'm so happy I have those. All right. So I have my glass here. Let's get started, shall we? So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to pour some of this milk in here. Now this is going to be interesting because I haven't drank milk in a very long time. And as far as I know, I'm not, you know, lactose intolerant or anything like that. But I guess I'll find out if I have any kind of weird reaction. Now, for something like this, I'm going to assume that maybe, depending on how vanilla I want this thing, maybe a teaspoon of vanilla extract is enough. We'll see. We could always like add a little bit more. We'll flavor to taste. How about that? We'll do that. So we'll do that. I'll take this out here. And then let me just take out this food coloring. So I got the blue. Now the one thing interesting about this is that it's gel food coloring. I don't know if there is really a difference, to be honest with you, because I haven't had to use food coloring in a while. Typically I would use red food coloring because I like making red velvet cupcakes. So I don't know how it's going to work with this, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to mix this up. So let me get a spoon for all of that. I really truly hope that the audio is okay and the video is okay. I mean, I can see from a distance that the video looks okay, but you know, it's kind of hard for me to know. And again, I apologize. I can't reply to any chat messages just yet. When we're all done here and I go back to my setup, my main setup, I'll make sure to reply to anything that I've missed. So I do apologize for that. And you know, if you're enjoying this and you want to see me do more of this kind of stuff, also let me know in the chat. And also don't forget to hit that like button and all that. So okay, so we got our milk here, right? Let us open this because I'm sure there's like that annoying little seal that prevents it from spilling while it's being packaged and all. So let me open this up here. I'm opening up some vanilla extract. Oh, Billy. All right. So yeah, so like I said, let's start with 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon may be more than enough here, so. All right, let's do that. And again, if I want more flavor, I can always go back and add more. Flavor to taste, right? All right, so we got that. And mix this up a bit here. Ooh, that smells good. Smells a little strong, but I think that's okay. I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with that. All right, let me just put that there. All right, now let's go with the food coloring here. So, or the food gel, as they call it. All right, 3 drops. Let's see what that does here. Oh, there it is. You don't need a lot. You really don't need a lot. In fact, this may be too dark. So maybe 1 drop or 2 drops would have been enough, but you really definitely don't need a lot. Look at that. That is what you call blue milk, son. This is more than blue. This is a dark blue milk. Yeah, all right. But of course, we have to taste it. So let's taste to see how it is. Okay, I'll be honest. It tastes like milk with food coloring. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to add just a little bit more of the vanilla extract. Just a little bit. Oh, that's more than a little bit. Oops. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not a professional cook or food blogger, because I would have failed big time right there. Alright, I should have just used the measuring stick, the measuring spoon. Actually, that worked out. That worked out. Maybe it's also because I have a little bit of sweet tooth, you know? So I don't mind I don't mind the extra vanilla and all that. I would probably say it's safe to say for this, if you were to make this yourself, I would say 2 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons worth of vanilla extract. And like I said, if you're using any kind of food gel coloring, um, then I would probably recommend, if you don't want it to be this dark blue, I would recommend doing maybe just 1 drop. Try it with 1 drop, mix it up, see how that turns out. And if you want it just a little bit darker, maybe you could do it with the 2nd drop. But 3 drops just was way too much, as you could see here. But it's blue milk. We got it. And I didn't need to go out there and, spend $6 or what have you on some True Moo produced product there that's hard to find, and I'm gonna kill myself going to all different types of Walmarts or what have you to try to look for it. I already had the extract in my cupboard because I do bake, so I already had that lying there. The food coloring, that I did have to buy separately, and just get yourself some regular 1% low-fat milk for yourself. You know what? Ain't bad. But I do feel like I am tasting a lot of the food coloring or the food gel because I put too much in there. It's kind of like when you eat cupcakes and the frosting is colored frosting. Sometimes it has like that weird frosting taste. That's what I'm tasting right now here. So, it's not that bad. Here, I'm gonna do the Luke Skywalker. Yummy. All right, so yeah, so there you go. We're celebrating today, Star Wars Day. Did I get some on me? Probably did. Hold on. I think I'm all right. All right. But yeah, we got ourselves some blue milk here. All right. So I'm gonna head back to the desk there, and we'll watch this Acolyte trailer. All right. So let me just move this here. Blue milk, blue milk. Blue milk, blue milk. Eating some blue, drinking some blue milk. You don't eat it, you drink it. What the hell's wrong with me? What the hell's wrong with me? Blue milk, blue milk. Hey, 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 blue milk. It's too blue. It's so blue, it's almost teal. All right. All right, I'm back here, back in the desk, and like I said, you could see here is my blue milk that I am enjoying for the stream. Ah, okay. It's really not that bad, you know. Again, it's you have to be a fan of milk to drink this stuff, you know. And like I said, I don't normally drink milk, by myself and all. But it is what it is. If you're a fan of milk and you just want to make your milk a little different, ruthless kindness, kindless, sorry, it is very cool. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something, and I hope you learned from my mistakes too. Don't do what I did and put too much of this food coloring into it. And don't pour vanilla extract without measuring a little bit of it, because that's just silliness. Other than that, here we go. Blue milk for Star Wars Day. All right. So let's go ahead and let's check out this new Acolyte trailer. So the last trailer we got was a nice little tease. I mentioned before when I was reacting to that trailer that they showed footage of the Acolyte last year at Star Wars Celebration in Europe. And I feel like they've been hinting at footage of this thing for some time now. And when they released the trailer last year, only to the crowd who got to see it in at Star Wars Celebration, and I think they also showed some people at D23. When they did all that, um, some people leaked it online just a little bit, and I cheated. I looked online and I kind of caught it, and I saw it for myself, and it looked fun. And the teaser trailer that we got was basically the same footage that they released for those audiences, right? So I'm very curious to see what we're going to get here. This trailer is much longer. It's like a minute 50. From what I remember, I think the other trailer was like under a minute, or maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that this is definitely going to be much longer. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. What am I talking about? This new trailer is actually longer than that. Hold on. I have, it's so funny. I actually have the old trailer pulled up. So let me go back and let me get the right one here. Let's see. Trailer. We're going into my trailer folder. Here we go. All right. No, I was right. It's like a minute 50. So I think the previous trailer was like just shy over a minute or so, or what have you. But anyway, regardless of that, I'm very curious what we're going to get in this trailer. The last trailer, what we got, we basically got, a little bit of the saber fighting, a little bit of like the old Republic feel and look to everything. We got to see who could be the potential bad guy in the series, in the show. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a whole lot more here. So without further ado, let's check out this new trailer for The Acolyte. All right, let's go.
Last night, a Jedi was murdered.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I gotta rewind that. Wow, that was dope.
The Jedi.
Oh, we're here. We're in Coruscant. That's Daphne Keane, I believe.
In the name of peace. But that peace is a lie.
Wow, she's very like ninja-like. That's Carrie-Anne Moss. Trinity. That guy has a typical Padawan look. Ooh, that's like a busted saber.
I trained her. Let me be the one to bring her in.
Again, a lot of these fight scenes are very like old school kung fu based.
Part of a larger plan.
Whoa.
Some sort of shift to tip the scales.
Okay.
It's time to face the past.
Destiny is not decided for you by an anonymous force. If you want to
that looks pretty cool. I wonder if a lot of these locations are locations we saw before. Got a lot of sabers. Yo, who's that? Is that Revan? Oh, who's that?
What are you?
Is that Revan? Wow. He kind of had like a Kylo Ren-ish looking helmet. But could we possibly be getting Darth Revan or someone else? I don't know. But that dude looked badass. Badass. Hold on. Let's just look at that real quick. I want to look at that one particular shot. Go back. Hold on. I need to check this out again. No, not there. I mean, I love the whole intro, like the silhouette slowly walking. And then we move forward just a little bit. Look at all these, like, that's Daphne Keane and very generic Padawan looking guy. Look at this dude. He has like, it looks like it's almost like a mouth. In a way, it's kind of, I don't know, anime inspired, I would say. It looks devilish. Look at that thing. That's so fascinating how that thing looks. Yeah, look at that. It's like he has his own mouth, like a zipper mouth. It reminds me so much of like very typical imagery you would see like in an anime. Wow. That's crazy. So is this going to be the main villain, the main baddie for the series? The one who's kind of, because from what I recall, the whole premise of this series is, yes, we are going back to like the old Republic era, which is great. We don't get enough of that, and it's kind of refreshing that we're getting something that is not so strictly tied to the Skywalker saga, right? I think I'm safe to say that we're all sick of that by now. We want to see something different, right? So we're definitely going backwards. This is around the time when the Jedi are supposed to be out and about, living their lives. They're very much a part of society. They're very much part in the whole lexicon of the world and the universe. And this is the initial first time that the Sith causes a threat or poses a threat. So in a way, it's supposed to be like the emergence of the Sith for the very first time. And I'm not so like, I wouldn't say I'm like extremely so well versed in canon. I don't read all the books, all the New Republic, Old Republic stuff that has been coming out book wise. I have not read a single one of them. So excuse me and pardon me for my lack of knowledge when it comes to that stuff. But apparently, from what it looks like here, we get this singular person who may be responsible for the rise of the Sith. And it's going to follow a very, I don't want to say typical, but we've seen something like this before where, okay, Amanda Stenberg's character was training to be a Jedi, who probably was a Padawan at one point. You hear the narration about, I trained her, she was training under me, and blah, 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 this and that. And she gets tempted, right? And it looks like she got tempted to move on over to the dark side. And now she's coming back and she's fighting against the Jedi. Maybe the masters that helped train her. Maybe she has the questions as to why it has to be a certain way. So she's very, very ninja-like in her movements. She uses the kunais, which are pretty awesome and very different. We don't really see that in Star Wars related shows, whether it's movies or TV series. So it's almost like you're combining old fashioned kind of martial arts fighting with the lightsaber battling and all that. So that's all in all, that all is refreshing and looks fascinating to me. But story wise, I'm just very curious as to what really is happening here. And if this is supposedly supposed to be the introduction or the rise of the Sith for the very first time, then I'm very curious as to how they're going to portray that and who are the main players involved in it all. But whoever that person is looked very badass, and whether or not Amandla goes full on Sith is yet to be seen. I wonder if we're going to see other Padawans veering more towards that end because of influence or some sort of trauma. We saw that one Padawan that his eyes blacked out and he kind of like passed out. So I don't know what that's about. It looks like there's apparently some mind control involved. There's that weird group of people that are doing stuff with their hands, and it's like very mystical. So it's definitely, it feels like it's teetering more towards sci-fi fantasy, right? In a way, which I'm perfectly fine with. Again, I'm just curious as to what kind of Star Wars we're getting here. And for many of you out there who are complaining that we're not getting enough of the saber fights, lightsaber battles, it looks like we're definitely going to get a lot in this one. So buckle up and strap in. I believe they say it was coming out in June or July. So I'm sure it's going to be an interesting watch for a lot of people. I just hope that I just hope it's going to be decent. If I'm to be very honest with you, I'm just hoping that it's going to be entertaining and enjoyable to watch, because there is an interesting kind of back and forth I had with a friend on Facebook today. The rare moment I go on Facebook and I see a post from this guy, and this guy is very known for his very unique and hot takes. Most of the time, most of the people don't agree with a lot of things he said. I also feel like he's a shit stirrer. He just loves stirring up shit. But this is a guy that I worked with a long time ago, around 98, 99, when the Phantom Menace first came out. And this was the same guy who could not stop reading anything about Phantom Menace, whatever he could find online. Anything that was speculated, anything that was hinted, anything that was kind of, you know, looked into and behind the scenes stuff. This guy was relentless with that, with all of it. And he kept like, not annoying us, but he kept like inundating us with all of this information that he's reading on the internet. I feel like, you know, instead of working, 2/3 of his day was like researching Star Wars stuff for the Phantom Menace online. And it was because of all of that, we were all so hyped about Star Wars. And then when we all went to see the Phantom Menace, it was kind of like, was that good? You know, and I feel like a lot of people at that time were kind of along the same boat as we were. We were kind of in shock as to what we just saw. And I think a lot of us were making excuses because we haven't had a new Star Wars of anything in so long. You know, but this was a guy that was so hardcore into all of those things. And he was definitely what I would call a major defender of just anything Star Wars related. So he decides to post today, May 4th, out of all days, he posts something where he said, I think, well, first of all, he's like, hot take. I think they should remake episode 4, A New Hope. Come at me. Something like that. And I'm just like, what? Why would you ever consider wanting to remake episode 4? For me, that makes no sense whatsoever. And of course, as I guessed, a lot of his friends in the comments were thinking he's nuts, right? Like, no, why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. You know, so I chimed in and I'm just like, you're drunk. And he's like, no, the sober me wants this done too. I was like, well, the sober you is drunk. And his argument is that we haven't gotten anything good Star Wars related in years. Like, Star Wars hasn't been on point. And I said, yeah, that may be so, but why go backwards in order to move forward? Like, I think a lot of the discourse right now, especially when it comes to reboots and remakes, is why? Why are we doing that? You know, is it because we're trying to reintroduce something to a younger generation? Is it because we have this uncontrollable need to want to make things better? You know, the George Lucas effect of like the special editions of the original trilogy. Like, do we constantly have to think that we need to improve on something that is already okay on its own? And I feel like there's a lot of people who are just so tired of remakes and reboots and all those things. And, you know, and then his response to that was, well, why do we have to move forward at all? So it made me sound like he just wants to be stuck in this time where Star Wars was great for him, which is obviously the original trilogy, right? So I think he just wants to constantly relive in those moments of episode 4, 5, and 6 and how good those stories were and how everything was well done and played out and all. How the characters developed the way, you know, it resonated with all of us. But that's, you know, you're speaking for just yourself at that point, right? How is that going to benefit the fandom in general, or those people who are fans of Star Wars still, or those who are going to be new fans of Star Wars in the future, right? So my last thing I said to him, and I haven't had a chance to check my phone because guess what? One of my phones was used as a camera in the kitchen. So I have no access to any of that stuff. So gosh, I hope, knock on wood, that there's no emergency, because right now I wouldn't know because I'm not near my phone. But my last reply to him was, well, here's my hot take. Maybe Star Wars is no longer for you. Anything new that we're getting maybe it's just not meant for you or us anymore. We have to always think, and kind of like what I said earlier when I started streaming, was we have to keep in mind that there's always going to be a new generation, a new set of eyes who are going to be introduced and watching all of these properties now moving forward. Anything new coming out may not resonate with us, but may very well resonate with a younger audience. From what I can tell, just based off of my personal experiences going out to like Star Wars Celebration or any other convention, or reading some of the Twitter stuff, is that there is a huge fan base who love all the new stuff that we're getting. And I'm talking about the Obi-Wan series. Andor was great. I think the overall feeling that Andor was a well done series, right? But even season 3 of The Mandalorian, which I thought it kind of lost itself, it kind of fell apart. There are people who are huge fans of season 3 of The Mandalorian. Ahsoka was definitely pulling on the heartstrings of a different type of generation of the fan base. Those who loved the show Rebels. And not a lot of people watched Rebels. I loved Rebels. I thought Rebels was great. And there are parts of Ahsoka that felt good. But then there are other parts of Ahsoka that I kind of question. I'm just like, oh, I don't know about that, right? But there are people who are loving all of these things that are getting put out there. The ones who are more vocal about their distaste and displeasure in way Star Wars is being handled now, I feel like is my generation, the older fans who are unfortunately stuck with the idea that the concept of Star Wars was what we were already, previously introduced to. And there's no way of moving forward from here, right? Like, why redo something that's haven't been broken, right? Why redo the wheel? And I was like that. I'll be completely honest with you. I was one of those people. When The Force Awakens came out, I was super excited because it felt like old Star Wars. It felt like old school Star Wars. And then the other sequels came out. We got The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and that's when the fan base just exploded and got super divisive overall, right? But like I said, I feel like those with the strongest voices were an older generation, or the generation of people that for them, Star Wars is episode 4, 5, and 6. And that's it. They denounced the prequels, right? They never really watched any of the books, right? They never really bother with the cartoons, or maybe they did, or maybe they didn't like it, or whatever, So when The Force Awakens came out, we had people from the OG series coming back. We had Harrison Ford back. We had, Carrie Fisher back. So, and teasing and hinting that Luke Skywalker was going to be back, Mark Hamill. So I feel like my generation, or the old school fans, were super excited because, oh, this is nice. This is going to be our Star Wars and all. What's up, Lil Sa? Oh, you're calling me Grandpa? All right. I'll take that. That's fine. Ganesh, always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later. Well, thank you. That's a nice thing to say. Thank you for chiming in. Oh, not me. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying Grandpa like me. But when the Force Awakens came out, we were reminded again of how Star Wars felt. But then afterwards, when they tried to go a different route, and I'll be honest, they didn't really treat it well. I think unanimously, a lot of people were thinking that they just messed up. There was no steady, thought, storyline. There was no conversation. It was just a hot mess, really. You're still, Lil Saw, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's really very kind of you to say, because there are days where I don't feel young. But the minute they veered away from the nostalgia of original Star Wars, that's when a lot of the fan base got very upset and very angry. And again, denounce everything. Wow, we don't care about these sequels, blah, 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 this and that. And there's still a lot of them who will never say anything positive about the prequels, right? I kind of got out of it, because the minute I had a chance to see the reaction from a different set of eyes, when I got to see a younger generation reacting to Star Wars, reacting to the prequels, right? When I started having conversations with younger generations about Star Wars and how their initial Star Wars was the Phantom Menace, and now seeing the kind of reaction people have to Hayden Christensen or the guy who plays Jar Jar, Ahmed Best, even the outcry and the love people are trying to throw Lil Anakin. I forget what his name is right now. Especially hearing all the troubles that he's been having and all that, and how, I one thing I said is that if he were well enough to ever go to a convention and kind of just say hi to everybody, I guarantee you there's going to be so many people throwing so much love at that kid. And that's because the younger generation is now the overall strongest voice when it comes to the support of the Star Wars brand. I feel like my generation, the older generation, is the strongest voice when it comes to the negativity on the Star Wars side of things. So it's just, oh, I really appreciate that, Lilsa. Really, really appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. It just goes to show you that there's so many things happening right now, and you have to come to a point where you're just like, I guess this is no longer for me. Like I'll enjoy what I enjoy, and whatever else they do that I don't like, that's for someone else to enjoy. I always know that I'll have my stuff to look back on and to appreciate. Another friend of mine who is like a huge Transformers fan, when the new Transformers 1 trailer came out, he was like, nah, I'm good. Like I don't hate it, but it is definitely geared towards a younger generation, a younger audience, which is something I said too. And he's like, I will always have my G1 old school Transformers. He's already come to the conclusion that no matter what they do, it's not going to be what he wants. And he's fine with that, because what he likes, he already has in the past. And for whatever new is going to happen, that's for this younger generation to enjoy, or a different group of people to enjoy altogether. And I think that's kind of where we are right now with anything, any property related, whether it's Star Wars, Transformers, Doctor Who. I've been seeing so much discourse recently on Doctor Who, a franchise that's been around for more than 50 years, right? You're going to see a lot of that stuff. Even Marvel and DC. Even though I do think the majority of people will say that the Marvel stuff is very weak right now. And we're really crossing our fingers in hopes that Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine will help kind of course correct things, And I'm hoping so, at least. Or at least, at the very least, I'm hoping just to be entertained, But that's just how it is. It's like, especially when you get older, there's a generation that's getting older with you. And that generation that introduced us or created or helped create these things eventually move on, and they hand over the reins to somebody else who may have a different take and a different vision for where they want to carry these things moving forward. And if they're getting the okay from the upper management, if they're getting okay from the original creators to, do your thing, as long as you kind of stay true to this, and this, you're good to do whatever you want. And that's what we're seeing now. And some people like it, some people don't. And that's just how it's going to be always moving forward. So yeah. So Acolyte looks interesting. I'm definitely going to check it out. The Phantom Menace 25th anniversary is this year. And guess what? I'm going to go to the theater. I'm going to check it out. because it's been a long time since I seen it in the movie theater. The last time I saw it, I was with some of my friends. We kind of did like the Star Wars movie marathon leading to The Force Awakens, the release of The Force Awakens. So that was like a fun thing to do, but that felt like it was kind of hard to pay attention because you're watching all of these Star Wars things and you're just like all over the place, right? So it'll be nice to kind of go back to the theater and just sit down and enjoy the Phantom Menace on the big screen again. I don't know if they did any kind of remaster to it or whatever to make it look nicer with today's projections and maybe have it look nice on IMAX or RPX or Dolby Atmos or whatever insert premium theater experience here. you know but I'll check it out just because look, at the end of the day, Star Wars is Star Wars, and I'll always be a fan of Star Wars. As you could tell, I was ready for this. As you could tell by my excitement, I can't wait for next year for Star Wars Celebration. It will always be a part of me. I may not like everything they do within this universe, but they do a lot and enough for me to love what they do. So that's just how it is. And that is just my take on it. You don't necessarily have to agree either. That's just how it goes. All right. So, what other Star Wars related stuff we could talk about? Well, there's new news about Skeleton Crew, which is the other Disney Plus series that is coming out this year that is Star Wars related. So, it looks like Skeleton Crew, we can expect that release to be in December of this year. I think this is the first time that they announced exactly when it's going to be popping up. So here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Star Wars Skeleton Crew targets December. I'm here on Dark Horizons. The upcoming Star Wars let's start over. The upcoming Star Wars Skeleton Crew series will reportedly arrive on Disney Plus just in time for the Christmas season. Collider reports that John Watts, the recent Spider-Man trilogy director who serves as creator showrunner on Skeleton Crew, confirmed to them at CCXP, which I believe that is a comic convention, that Skeleton Crew is aiming for a December launch. The story will follow four kids as they navigate a dangerous galaxy in search of their way home. Ravi Kobat Conyers, Ryan Kiera Armstrong, Kiriana Crater, and Robert Timothy Smith play the kids. Jude Law and Carrie Condon also star in this series, which Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy compares to classic Amblin Tales, saying it's about kids but not necessarily a kids show. Directors of the episodes include Watts himself, David Lowery, who was responsible for The Green Knight, the Daniels, who did Everything Everywhere All at Once, Jake Schreier, who's currently directing Thunderbolts, Lee Isaac Chung, who did Minari, and Bryce Dallas Howard, who, of course, directed many wonderful episodes of The Mandalorian. It will follow 6 months on from The Acolyte, which will launch on June 4th. The animated Star Wars Tales of the Empire series launches this Saturday, which is today. So, this I didn't know. I didn't realize that you had a lot of these directors attached to the series. So that, for me, is exciting enough. I love seeing that. I'll be very much interested to see how the Daniels direct a Star Wars thing, especially since I'm a huge fan of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I've been curious as to what their next projects were going to be. So it's interesting to hear that they're directing an episode within this series. So we have The Acolyte coming out. We have Skeleton Crew that is going to come out in December. And yes, another big release today was Star Wars Tales of the Empire, which I cannot wait to watch because I love what they did with the Jedi Tales of the Jedi, that kind of showed you like a young Ahsoka. And I love the storyline of Count Dooku. Oh man, it was him, I believe, Qui-Gon too. Really great storytelling in those little animated shorts. So I can't wait to watch that later when I have a chance. Arnold, hello from Romania. Love your content. Well, thank you. Thank you, Arnold. Really appreciate you being here and saying that. Very kind of you to say. Thank you. Are you celebrating Star Wars Day? I don't know what time it is in Romania, but let me know if you're a fan of Star Wars. So we are getting a good decent amount of Star Wars stuff this year. Uh, I don't know though. The Acolyte, I'm surprised that we haven't seen any kind of trailer for Skeleton Crew yet. And from what I recall, this show has already finished filming a while ago, right? I could be wrong, but I'm so curious as to why we haven't seen anything really from Skeleton Crew yet. Maybe maybe they're going to test the waters to just see how the reaction to the Acolyte will be like. And then if they're seeing things are positive, then maybe they'll finally tease us with what we're going to see in Skeleton Crew. And if it's the opposite, maybe they may take the opportunity to kind of reconfigure it, maybe spend more time on it. I don't know. Mind you, we're also supposedly getting an Andor season 2. I don't think it's coming out this year. I think that's aimed for next year. So we'll see what happens there. Arnold Wintel, yes, Star Wars is the best. Also, I want Mace Windu back. A lot of people have been saying that for a long time, and I'm open to it. I'm just very curious as to how they were going to go about doing that. I believe, wasn't there rumors or speculation that we would see Mace Windu come back in The Mandalorian at one point, or maybe in the Book of Boba Fett, right? Um, or was there speculation that maybe we could see like a Mace Windu pop up in maybe Ahsoka, right? Because now you're exploring cross dimensions and time travel. That's kind of how we got, Hayden back as Anakin, right? We even got to see him a little bit in Obi-Wan. So I feel like there was always like rumors that he was somehow maybe going to come back. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Sam Jackson wants him to come back. Like he really wants to reprise that role big time. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Mace Windu was definitely a badass character. I wish we got more of a backstory for him to kind of see what led him to be the person that he is that we were introduced to in the prequels. It would have been nice to kind of see more of that. And I'm sure they covered a lot of that in the books and in the comic books. But I want to see like a live action telling of some of that backstory. By the way, I'm enjoying some homemade blue milk. So happy 4th to all of you out there. If you want to see me making this homemade blue milk, you would have to rewind back to earlier in the stream where I kind of walk everyone through my process of my first time making homemade blue milk. And oh, you know what? It's been sitting just for a little bit and it tastes better now, I think. Maybe you have to have it sit for a while. I don't know. Arnold saying in Ahsoka it would have made more sense for you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, in Ahsoka it's now that they're exploring that interdimensional time travel aspect that they kind of introduced in Rebels, it would have made sense, right? They could have brought in anybody, to be honest with you, at that point. So, but also in a way, I'm glad that they didn't, because if they were going to do that, it would have been a major throwaway just to have him show up so briefly and not spend enough time with him, you know. So I don't know if that would better be served in another type of series or something, but who knows? Again, it's fun to speculate, it's fun to talk about. I don't know if we'll ever be able to get to see him back on the screen again, big or small, but it would be nice. It would be nice. Maybe we'll see. Again, I haven't watched it yet. Maybe in this new Tales of the Empire, maybe he might pop up. We'll see. But yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, any Star Wars is interesting, and I will always check it out. I may not necessarily like it, but hey, I'm just happy that Star Wars is still being made and talked about today. So yeah, Skeleton Crew coming out this December. So we're definitely going to get our fill of Star Wars related stuff for the year, and that should be exciting. It should be definitely exciting. All right, let's see if there's any other new Star Wars related news that we could talk about. Anything new? I'm not gonna talk about any of like the deals or the sales because there's just too many. I remember, I think it was two or the channel has been around now for 4 years. I would say I'll say maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I tried to recap like the best Star Wars Day related deals out there, but it's gone to be too much as the years has gone by. Everyone has their own Star Wars sale. Everyone has their own Star Wars deal. You know, so just do a search online and you're gonna get inundated with so many things. And honestly, there are other sites out there who have the bandwidth to cover all those news. So by all means, go to their publications and their sites to check all that stuff out. There's just too much. There's too much to recap and all. I will say this on the video game related side of things. I don't know how many people play Rocket League anymore, but I still enjoy Rocket League. And right now they're having their little campaign going on where you can unlock some nice skins and you can purchase additional premium skins. They have an Android set where you could see like you could get like a special skin for R2D2 and C3PO for your cars. Fortnite is running a huge thing right now. If I was into Fortnite, I'd be in heaven because they're always finding new ways to incorporate a lot of these IPs and properties into their game. And right now they're having a major event with Star Wars to celebrate Star Wars Day and May the 4th and all. So on the video game related side, at least you have that. Oh, and Fall Guys, the game Fall Guys is having their own Star Wars event too. So that's very interesting to see. So if you still play Fall Guys, or if you want something new to do, or go back to something that you haven't done in a minute, Fall Guys could be a great thing to check out this weekend because they have a lot of fun Star Wars related content going on right now. Fall Guys, Fortnite, and Rocket League. Like I said, I've been checking out Rocket League to see what they're offering there. I don't play Fortnite, and Fall Guys I haven't played in a very long time. So we'll see what happens there. Did I put away the milk? Guys, I don't know. Did I ever put away the milk that I was using? You know what? Let me check on the milk. Because I don't want that milk to go bad. And I've been talking now for what? How long have I been? Like almost an hour? All right. You know what? Let's go back to the kitchen. I'm coming. Yes, indeed, I'm coming. I just want to make sure that this milk is... Oh, no, it's still out. All right. Sorry, the milk is still out. I messed up. The milk is out. What did I do? What do I do? All right. Put the milk back in the fridge. I guess I should clean up a little bit here. I don't need this box anymore. I'll throw that out later. Okay. I got my blue spoon. My blue spoon. Put that over there. I got this. I need to wash later. Okay. Still got this vanilla extract I could use, and I got this coloring kit. It's cleanup time! Welcome to LOWKEY GEEK Cleanup Kitchen. I'm your host, Renee. Wow, I forgot I have this giant vanilla extract. Look at it compared to this other one I just used. I do bake a lot, so when it comes to vanilla extract, I always have to have a good amount of these. Especially since I do a lot of cupcake baking. For Mother's Day, that's coming up this week, I'm actually planning to make my mom butter cake, and I've never made butter cake before, but I'm a huge fan of butter cake. So I was always curious to see how butter cake was going to be like to kind of make it yourself. The last time I had butter cake, it was at this restaurant. It was like a fancy restaurant, and it was so delicious. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it that good, but I'm definitely going to try to make my very own butter cake. Yeah. So hopefully you heard me during all that. I hope the audio was working well. And if it's not, I apologize. I'm going to head on back to the desk now. All right. It is definitely a good thing I checked because the milk was left out. That would have sucked if I just kept going and going and going and, find out that the milk is going to go bad. But I think I saved it in time. So I can continue to make more blue milk for the remainder of the weekend there. Oh, I'm not putting on these things right. How's everyone doing out there, by the way? I don't want to be here yapping, 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 and not being able to converse and chat with all of you. So let me know how you're all doing. And if you are like me and really celebrating Star Wars today, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you all and also with you. Like I said, if you've missed me making I guess this will now be a tradition of mine. If you missed me making my newly earned tradition of blue milk to celebrate Star Wars Day, you're gonna have to rewind back earlier in the stream. Something that I did. It's probably would be a good idea to kind of make it like a clip out and do a separate video, and make it its own separate video. Because, like I said, that True Moo product, I hate. Can we not do such limited edition stuff where it forces people to go nuts and search for these things? Unbelievable, I'm telling you. May the power be with you and with the milk. Yeah. Oh, there's power in this milk, all right. Because it's kind of funny because I accidentally put too much vanilla extract in there, but hey, it is what it is. Kindness for critters. Happy Star Wars Day. Thank you. Wait, where's my sound effect? Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. So here's something I would ask all of you watching right now. If you were to rewatch something today, what is your first thing that you would rewatch that is Star Wars related? Or if you have a current tradition that you do, what is that tradition to celebrate Star Wars? Or maybe you celebrate Star Wars every day. I don't know. But let me know in the comments. I'll be curious to hear what that is all going to be like. I can't stop drinking this blue milk. It's like a new addiction. Ah, blue milk. Is it turning? Oh yeah, it's turning my tongue blue. Vision Season 1. Injit. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Thank you for chiming in. Vision Season 1 is phenomenal. I loved every short that they had in Vision Season 1. And you actually just reminded me that I haven't had a chance to finish Season 2 yet. So I think that's something that I'm going to have to do later. Arnold, brother, I'm slowly going to sleep. It's already 12 o'clock night for it. Take care. Arnold, thank you again for tuning in. And thank you again for the kind words and all that. So have a good night. Sleep well. Dream of lightsabers, blasters, and the Force. May the Force be with you. And I hope to see you again in a future stream. Kindness for critters, luminous beings we are, not this crude matter. You just bought a lightsaber on Amazon. Nice. Which lightsaber did you buy? I should do that in my Yoda voice. Sorry, I didn't do that justice. Luminous beings we are, not this crude matter. I have, damn it, I don't have it here. So the last time I was at Disneyland, that was my first time. So when Star Wars Celebration was in Anaheim, California 2 years ago. Is it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? 2 years ago. I was there with my friends and we went to Disneyland. And that was my first time having a chance to go to Star Wars Galaxy. And what I did is I bought the lightsaber of Kyle from the Jedi Survivor series, the video game series. So I bought that. So, but I have it somewhere else. It's not here with me right now. But it's funny. The only thing that I do have here is the blade, the light up blade. I don't know why I have it detached and hanging out here, but the hilt I have somewhere else. So I'm a hot mess. I don't know. But these sabers that they do now at like that you could buy from Galaxy, from Star Wars Galaxy, they do such a great job because I remember there was a company called Master Replicas when they were like one of the first ones to do like the lightsaber hilts, and then they were one of the first ones to do like the light up sabers. Everything was so attached that you had to keep it all as a whole, you know. And then later on, you had other companies trying it, and then when Hasbro took over, that's when they started really paying more attention to what is necessary, and they helped create the detachable light so that you could have the hilt, and then when you want to use it you could just attach this. Of course Disney has their own spin on it, so it's very cool that they could do all that, you know. They've done a lot with how they handle like the property and the products and all that. A cheap rechargeable one, fun. They are, yeah, they are expensive, that is true. It's not a cheap hobby, or it's not a cheap fandom, I should say. I also have. Hold on. Let me see. Is it here? No, it's not here. Another great thing that you could buy, just to say you have it, is that they sell the Kyber crystals. Now, certain saber replicas that they sell at Star Wars Galaxy, you can get the Kyber crystal and it will change the color of the blade depending on which hilt you buy. But not all of them are like that. So I actually bought a Kyber crystal thinking that I could switch it out with the blade that I got. Unfortunately, you cannot. But it's just nice to have. Like you can say, "Oh, look, I have a Kyber crystal." So we'll make a good nighttime weed whacker. That's for sure. Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah, I think one of my friends bought like one of those Amazon rechargeable lightsabers. And is that the one where you could change the color to all the different colors? You could change the sound effects to all different sound effects. Is that the same one? Because I remember when he got that, he showed it to me. I was like, oh, wow, this is actually pretty cool that you could do all of this with just one lightsaber. And you could have all these different color hilts, I mean, color blades, and have all the different sound effects and all that. I wonder if that's the same one you got. But yeah, going back to Visions again. I totally just got reminded that Visions 2 season 2 is I haven't finished it yet, so I definitely have to watch that. So apparently I have some homework now. I got Vision season 2 to watch, and I got the new Tales of the Jedi to watch. So sorry, Tales of the Empire to watch. So I gotta check that out. Yep, will be. Oh, so it is the one that you got. Oh, that's awesome. I hope you have a great time with that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. It's always fun getting new stuff, new toys. Always good stuff. For this year, I didn't really buy anything new Star Wars related to celebrate Star Wars Day. Uh, if you missed what I said earlier at the top of the stream, I guess the thing that I bought myself was 3 tickets to Star Wars Celebration in Japan next year. So that is my gift of Star Wars for myself to help celebrate Star Wars Day. So I'm excited to go back to Celebration and to go back to Japan since it's been a minute since I've been there. Let's see what other, if any, if there's any other Star Wars related news out there that we could talk about. Any new reveals? We already checked out the new Acolyte trailer, and it looks interesting. Are you excited for Acolyte also? Kindness for Critters, let me know. Or Ninjit, if you're still there, let me know if you're excited for Acolyte. Let's see. Let's just, what happens when you type in Star Wars? and you click on news. Let's see what happens when you do that. Right on, Japan will be a great adventure. Always is. Always is. And I cannot wait. I honestly cannot wait. And also, I cannot wait to kind of document and share my experiences with all of you watching. I will try to do some live streams from there. Usually in Japan, the internet is very good. The data is very good. So I should be able to try to live stream from there. If not, I will at least upload videos of like me walking around the convention. Anytime I have a panel, I found out that even if I don't get a chance to go into any panel, the best place to be is the Star Wars live stage. Because there, you never know who's going to pop up live on stage. And when I was there in Anaheim, I missed out on a lot of panels because it's like a lottery system to get into these panels. So I spent a day hanging out at the live stage, and I saw Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, Natasha Liu Bordizzo, and Giancarlo Esposito. Like, everyone popped up. Ewan McGregor surprised everyone. So it's such a fun time. So I love documenting those moments and just hearing the crowd go nuts, whenever someone shows up. So it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And it's just going to be so interesting because it's in a different country, so maybe having a chance to meet like Japanese fans of Star Wars would be awesome. Really, really awesome. All right. Let's see. So I typed in Star Wars and see what anything new that was announced or anything like that. It doesn't sound like today is like a big news drop day for sure. StarWars.com has Star Wars Mother's Day's gift guide. Let's see here. Here. I'm gonna put on some internet browsing music for your listening pleasure. Searching the web online. Go and see what's in the news. Star Wars news. New series. Anything Star Wars related. I'm looking for it. And I want to see if there's anything worth talking about. Star Wars. Talking about. I'm gonna drink some blue milk. Blue milk time. Blue milk time. All right. So yeah, there really isn't anything that's like really popping up big time as far as new news is concerned, any announcements. We already got the trailer earlier today. Tales of the Empire dropped today. I mentioned before, Fortnite has a big Star Wars event happening right now. Apple released a Find Your Friends commercial that is very Star Wars related, which I thought was very interesting. I already saw that before, so if you haven't seen it, check that out. That's actually pretty cool. The Bad Batch finally ended, I guess, right? That's another series that I have to go back to because I'll be honest, I kind of got tired of it. It felt a little bit too Adventure of the Week for me. So, I needed a break. And I said to myself that once the series is done and completed, I will then go back and watch it all. So that's what I'm going to plan to do in the next couple of weeks. You could make some Bad Batch cookies. A jump to hyperspace with a cold Corellian iced coffee. Ooh. Look at these. Wow, this is so innovative. I may want to try to do these one day. Could you imagine making Ewok sushi? What is this even made out of? Yum Num Ewok sushi. Look at this. That is hilarious. Okay, you need tofu pouches, seaweed, and salami. It doesn't look like you need a lot of ingredients for this thing. How do you do this? That's what I'm. So that's the tofu. Yeah, it's the tofu that you cut out. Oh my gosh, that is so adorable. That really is. That is so innovative. I feel like, before I go to Japan next year, I have to do stuff like this. We should have like a Star Wars cooking party as often as we can because this is fascinating to me. That's amazing. That just looks like a lot of fun. Great kindness. I found a Hasbro Grogu at Value Village last week. Wow, that's awesome. Which Grogu is that? Let's see, Hasbro Grogu. Was it a big one? Was it like one of those talking ones? Like where did he go? Oh, here he is. All right. Don't break anything. There we go. Was it like this guy? My little Grogu buddy over here? Hold on. How do you turn him on? Oh, right. I have to touch his butt to turn him on. Hey, Grogu. What's up, buddy? Wait, is he on? Oh, there he goes. What's up, Grogu? Say something. Say hello to all the kind people out there watching you live. What are you doing today to celebrate Star Wars Day, Grogu? Okay. Do you want some blue milk? You want to try some of this blue milk, Grogu? No? He's kind of a picky eater, I know. All right, Grogu, say goodbye to everybody. All right, say goodbye. Oh, he's blessing you all. There you go. Thanks, Grogu. You're the coolest. Ah. Kindness, 11-inch plushie, 20 bucks. Nice. Very cool. Ventriloquist you are. I am not. But, when it comes to Grogu, I feel like he says a lot with his eyes. So you kind of understand what he's trying to say. All right. I am so into a lot of these like dishes that they do now when it comes to Star Wars related stuff. Like this, for example. So I just made my own blue milk, right? They have this cool recipe for blue milk pudding, which looks fascinating to me. So here we have blue milk pudding, which looks kind of delicious. Whole milk, sugar, cornstarch, blue food dye gel, which I do have, which I use a little bit too much in my milk, whipped cream, and shredded coconut. So I'm noticing that a lot of people who make their own blue milk, they love using coconut. I'm curious as to why that is. This is interesting because not only could this be like blue milk pudding, but if you do it right in Japan, they might think that you're making a Mount Fuji pudding, because it very much looks like the peak of Mount Fuji with the snow on top of it. So that's interesting. That's very interesting there. There's a lot of cookie stuff. I'm not usually good with making cookies. I usually end up burning my cookies all the time or undercooking them because I'm just terrible at making cookies. Go figure. I can make cupcakes like there's no tomorrow. But when it comes to cookies, I mess it up somehow every single time. I don't know why that is. I am just not built to be making cookies. Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of cupcakes, well, these are brownies. Bake some Wookiee cookie brownies. This looks frightening to me. These don't look really that appetizing. I don't know, man. This looks kind of messy. And don't get, I love Chewbacca. But this looks, all right. It's like typical stuff. And it's really more in the decoration. It's basically a chocolate cupcake, right? And the frosting is like chocolate frosting. And really, it's just all in how you decorate it to make it look like a Wookiee. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you want to see me do more Star Wars related food stuff. We could have a cooking stream. Wookiee cookie. Yeah, it's like maybe I should make some Wookiee cookies. Wookiee cookies. That would be actually pretty funny. And it could be a lot of fun to make too. This right here. Wait, hold on. Salacious crumb cakes. Heyo! That's right. You could make your very own salacious crumb cakes. Look at that. That looks hilarious. All right, shut up. Why are you laughing so much, guys? Jeez. Let's see. Flour, butter, eggs, cream cheese. Yellow icing, black icing, and brown icing. There's a lot of icing involved. And plus 6 ounces of brown candy melt. Whatever that means. I don't know what's a brown candy melt. Wow. Fascinating. I find that all very fascinating. All right. Who knows? Maybe in future streams, you'll see me doing more Star Wars related baking and cooking in general. There's a lot to make, apparently. A lot of cool recipes. And however, I cannot promise that a lot of them are going to be extremely delicious. Because, when it comes to me making stuff, most of the time it's good. And there are moments where it's just like, I don't know about that. But, it is what it is. Jim Henson puppets are not usually edible. They're not. But that doesn't mean you can't try, right? Speaking of Jim Henson, I cannot wait for that new documentary coming out on Disney Plus soon. That looks like that's going to be really fun to watch. It's definitely gonna end up becoming a tearjerker for me because of my memories of my childhood growing up with Henson and his creations. That's gonna be quite a thing to see for sure. So I cannot wait for that documentary to come out. All right, let's talk about maybe it's time to kind of veer a little bit away from Star Wars. We'll remain within, pop culture for sure. And let's talk about some recent news that dropped. And if this is stuff that doesn't interest you, I totally understand and all, I understand if you're here for Star Wars only, but sometimes there's only so much Star Wars you could talk about. But there was some interesting casting news within the MCU that I was very curious about. One of which is that apparently Giancarlo Esposito, who is already part of the Disney family because he's in The Mandalorian, that he is joining the MCU. Now, I don't know what this means because I haven't read this article yet, but here I am on Dark Horizons. Giancarlo Esposito is joining the MCU. Fans have long spoken about his rumored involvement. Now, Breaking Bad actor Giancarlo Esposito has officially confirmed he's joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe, appearing on a panel at the CCXP convention in Mexico City. The Expo's first foray outside of Brazil, Esposito confirmed he'll be appearing in the MCU. He indicates he will not be appearing in the role many fans have suggested for him, which was Professor X in the X-Men. I know a lot of people were fan casting him for that. Rather, it's a different role that will be new to the MCU, so it's not a Kang replacement. And adds that it's coming sooner rather than later. He also says it's better than you can imagine. That sooner would suggest a potential Deadpool and Wolverine cameo, or an appearance in the likes of Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, or Blade, if on film, or one of the upcoming Disney Plus series. Esposito has received 2 Emmy nominations for his performance as Moff Gideon on The Mandalorian, and he also has the reoccurring role as the CEO of Vought Industries on Amazon's The Boys. He was recently on Netflix's The Gentleman, which I haven't seen yet, AMC's Parish, and he was in Abigail. Oh, look at that. He's been very busy. He'll also be in Maxine, Electric State, and Megalopolis this year. If Megalopolis comes out this year, that is the Francis Ford Coppola directed opus that he's been shopping around that doesn't have a distributor yet. So, fun to see. I think Giancarlo is an excellent actor. He adds major pedigree to any production he's part of. He is also a fantastic person to hear speak in person because he's very, very uplifting, very encouraging. It's like he sermonizes, it was just fascinating. And he is just such a positive role model as far as how to look at life, how to live life, how to achieve your dreams and your goals. And he's just, again, when it comes to acting, he's such a great actor. So, despite on what many people thought of his kind of demise in The Mandalorian, I did love his character in that series. So when it comes to the MCU, I cannot imagine right now what kind of character he would play that would appear in either the Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts or Blade. Maybe he could be like the new Whisper in the Blade series. Is it Whisper or Whistle? I forget, the older gentleman. Maybe he could play a version of that. I don't know. In the MCU, what else could he play? I mean, Professor X would have been fun to see, for sure. But I don't know. Maybe there's a part of me that wants to see him continue to be a bad guy and to be a villain. And what villain could he portray within the MCU? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Could he be Doom? Hold the phone. Hold on a second. Because I know for a while, a lot of people have been trying to fan cast Henry Cavill as Doom. But what if Giancarlo Esposito is Doom? Dr. Doom? I don't know. But I kind of like the sound of it. May not be the best choice, but he definitely has those acting chops to pull off a Doom-like character. So that could be fascinating. And I'm sure we'll learn eventually what's going to happen. Or is it going to be one of those things where they keep it so tight under wraps and it's going to be like a surprise pop-up whenever he does show up? I don't know. But I think Doom would be brilliant, if I'm to be very honest here. Sticking to MCU, and someone who is just all over the place right now, Paul Walter Hauser. He was recently announced to be cast in the new Naked Gun reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. He was also announced to be attached to some other production. But now it looks like he is also now cast in the Fantastic Four movie. So Fantastic Four enlists Paul Walter Hauser. Busy actor was also recently cast in Naked Gun. See, that's what I just said. No character details are available, but he joins the cast that includes, of course, we already know, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss Backrack as Ben Grimm and all that. And Julia Garner, who is playing not Silver Surfer per se, but a character that is similar to Silver Surfer. The feature has a July 25th, 2025 release date and hails from WandaVision director Matt Shakman, with Eric Pearson writing the latest draft of the script. It centers on the characters created by Stan Lee, blah, 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 blah. Hauser has been on a roll this week. He lined up work with Paramount's Naked Gun reboot. Oh, that's right. He was cast to be in the Chris Farley biopic. He is supposed to play Chris Farley, which is crazy. This guy is on a roll right now. And he's more than likely also going to be popping up at the end of the year when Cobra Kai comes out, because he does have a prominent character in that series. So, wow. This guy, whoever his agent is working his ass off getting this dude cast in a lot of things. Good for him. He's a pretty decent guy from what I've seen. And acting wise, I think he's pretty decent too. He's always like kind of like the comedic guy, or he's like that odd, awkward guy that you don't know exactly what he's thinking. That's why he was perfect to play that dude in was that I, Tonya, and in that movie that he did with what was it, Richard Jewell, for the bombing, the Olympic bombing. He played that perfect, like kind of like awkward dude who you assume is like messed up, right? So who could he be playing in the Fantastic Four? I heard a lot of people speculating that he might be Mole Man. That if there's going to be like a secondary bad guy in the Fantastic Four movie, he could play a version of Mole Man, right? I don't know if I agree with that, because if that's true, that means they're going to turn this Mole Man into like a comedic kind of bumbling guy. And I kind of don't want that for Mole Man. I kind of want Mole Man to be a little bit more respectable and kind of villainous, which he can be. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. Could he maybe play a voice? Maybe he could play the voice of Herbie, the robot. Who knows? That could be something that could be done. Because I can't think of any other character he could possibly play that is Fantastic Four related off the top of my head. But I don't necessarily agree that Mole Man would be that character, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, two very interesting cast announcements for MCU, for Marvel. And I'm very, very curious. And it could very much be that these two people are going to be cast in Fantastic Four. We already know Paul Walter Hauser is in Fantastic Four. Could Giancarlo Esposito be in Fantastic Four also? We don't know. And I wonder if he's gotten into trouble for saying what he said at the comic book convention. It kind of confirms he is in the MCU, because he does kind of have a loose mouth. He does have a tendency to kind of say stuff that maybe he's not supposed to. So I will be very curious as to what kind of repercussions he's encountering now because of that kind of announcement he made. It'll be really, really interesting to see what that's going to be like. Cool. So those are those things. You know what? There are some trailers that came out, or clips, that I definitely want to check out, especially that involves this movie Megalopolis from Francis Ford Coppola. I've been really, really interested to see what that movie looks like and what that movie is going to be about. So maybe right now, what we could do is we could do some live trailer reactions to some of these new things that drop, because that would be a lot of fun to do and check out. But let me see if I could find them first. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. I know right now a lot of people are probably just finishing watching up WWE Backlash. I was watching that before I went live, and it looked like it was a lot of fun. So I wonder what the other results are. And if you did see it and you're coming in here, please don't spoil anything because I will watch it in a replay later. But let's see here. You know what? I'm just going to do a search for this. So let's see. Megalopolis. Megalopolis. Francis Ford Coppola. I didn't know he had his own YouTube channel. What the hell is MX Cinema? All right. Well, you know what? Hold on. What is that? So is this a clip? It looks like it's a clip and not necessarily a trailer. You know what? Screw it. Let's check it out. I'm down. I hope I don't get flagged for this. But let's check it out. This is a first look clip at the movie directed by Francis Ford Coppola that he's shopping around right now. It doesn't have a distribution yet. But let's check out Megalopolis. Yeah, this is the thing that I was kind of like, what is this? Well, that's Adam Driver with a very short haircut. And a very chrome looking like building. I don't think I've ever, or I don't recall ever seeing Adam Driver with such a short haircut like that. Why are the clouds moving so fast? Is he planning to jump? Everything around him looks so surreal right now. And doesn't this look like this is a perfect image for a movie poster? Oh, he is gonna try to jump. What's he doing? Don't do it, Adam! Wait, he can control time? Oh. That, in a way, that kind of felt very Matrix-like. I'm very curious as to what's happening. Whoa. Oh, that's so fascinating. So he has the ability to control time, apparently. Is that it? I guess that's it. That is the tease. That is the tease right there. Wow. Okay. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, we don't know what's happening here. But from what we know, whoever character Adam Driver is portraying has the ability to stop time. And mind you, this is a story that's written, directed, and produced from Francis Ford Coppola. It's a sci-fi drama. It's a Roman epic fable. What? I'm just reading some descriptions here in the video as to what the story is supposed to be about. Why don't we? Let me just do a search right now. Megalopolis. All right. So let's see. So Megalopolis set in a metropolis following a devastating disaster. So it's another like post-apocalyptic thing. The film features an ensemble cast including Adam Driver, Natalie Emanuel, Giancarlo Esposito, again, someone we just talked about. Giancarlo is in the news a lot today. Jon Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Aubrey Plaza, big fan of that. Shia LaBeouf, haven't seen him in a minute. Jason Schwartzman, Grace Vanderwall, Catherine Hunter, Talia Shire, wow, Dustin Hoffman, and D.B. Sweeney. Unbelievable. So a little bit more background here. This is a longtime passion project for Coppola, who first conceived the film in 1979 and actively started developing it in 1983. It underwent significant delays and numerous cancellations over the years until Coppola revived the project in 2019 by spending $120 million of his own money on the film, which was filmed from November 2022 to March 2023. The film is Coppola's first directorial effort since 2011's Twixt, marking his longest gap between film. I know it's going to be shown and screened for the first time at the Cannes Film Festival happening this month. So I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about this. And usually what happens there is that once it screens, that's when people are going to start bidding on it. Like studios will start bidding on it. And then hopefully we'll get a distribution partner for this, because this could be Coppola's opus, his major movie. This is Citizen Kane. This is going to end up probably becoming his Citizen Kane, which is going to be interesting. But I just don't know what more about the movie it's supposed to be about. Like, who is Adam Driver's character, right? That's so fascinating to me. I mean, it looks interesting for sure. It really does. I find it so surprising and amazing that he spent so much of his life trying to get this movie made. This is like Jodorowsky. You know, he spent most of his life trying to make Dune, or his version of Dune, and it never came into fruition. I really hope that we finally get to see him release this movie, so at least he can say that his passion project was finally completed and he was able to put it out there. Man, amazing. All right. There was another trailer that dropped, and it is the full trailer for The Boys Season 4. Now, I don't know if I want to see this trailer right now, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've watched all of Season 3 of The Boys yet. I honestly cannot remember what happened in Season 3. Maybe what I'll do is, let me just do a quick, let's see, The Boys Season 3. Wait a minute. I did see this. Yeah, I remember Season 3 now. Okay. Yeah, this is when things got really crazy, right? Where he has his son, and it became very political, right? Yeah, and we have like multiple factions. Okay. Yeah, I remember Season 3 now. All right. I'm going to have to do a rewatch, because I feel like I really can't remember a lot from it. So I might have to do a rewatch of that, but it's not going to hurt me seeing the trailer for Season 4. So let me find it. Where is it? Oh, let me just do a search for it. The Boys. Hey, this is my boys. Here it is. The Boys Season 4 official trailer. Wow, it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds, huh? This is definitely a full trailer. All right. So before we start, again, The Boys, great show on Amazon Prime. Extremely gruesome, bloody, violent, a different take on the whole superhero genre, especially when you talk about how superheroes are kind of intertwined with politics and branding and marketing and corporatizing and all. So I've loved every season that I watched, despite me not remembering much of season three for whatever reason. But I've enjoyed this. Carl Urban is fantastic in this. Everyone in this show is fantastic. This is one of my favorite shows. So I am excited for this to come out. I need to rewatch a lot of things because there are a lot of stuff that I just don't remember for whatever reason. But let's check out this new teaser trailer, or sorry, not teaser anymore. Full official trailer for The Boys season 4. All right. Oops. Let's do this.
I look back at my life, and all I see are the messes I made.
Oh man, he's growing up.
And I ain't got time to fix it. I can do one thing right with the time I got.
And Anthony Starr is just always so good in this role. You gonna get the crew back together? All on the same page?
This country is corrupt beyond repair. We're gonna save it.
I also do love the timing of a series like this because it speaks so much about our current political landscape. Ooh, we got some new people here.
Wrathful gods. Show me a little wrath.
Oh, they're gonna go full evil now, huh?
Good, Ashley. Oh, you know shit, Ashley. Sorry, Ashley.
The whole
Man.
world is about to burn.
We need someone like you, Billy, before the soups start rounding us up. And
Oh yeah, we got Negan in the house.
To all our prayers, a virus that kills soups.
This is insane
Oh.
and desperate, even for you.
Well, insanely desperate's where we are, don't you think, love?
Let's go. Chop chop, motherfuckers.
I love Jack Quaid too. He is so good in this series.
War, good versus evil. I'm declaring hunting season on Starlighters.
Ooh, what the hell? Yo, what is that? It's like a super chicken?
Look, we've all done bad shit. What's insane is that our solution to every problem is murder.
Oh man, what the hell are those bubbles coming out?
Violence is power.
Yo,
That's the spirit, champ. Who wants a creamy, delicious
uh-oh.
milkshake?
Oh no. Is his son gonna be just like him?
Human.
Yo, what's with the killing animals? The killer animals? That's freaking nuts.
You're all fucking welcome.
Well, that's a good way to get demonetized. June, wow, we don't have to wait that much longer for it. Wow. Man. This season is going to be insane. Insane. Holy cow. Wow. You know, it's funny, like every time a new season comes out, you wonder how are they going to push the needle further? How are they going to up that bar of violence and storytelling, right? How much further are they going to push things? And just looking at this trailer alone, it feels like, my gosh, they are really throwing it all out there, everything that they can. And it looks fascinating. It looks so fun. And it looks like we're getting the crew back together. And it looks like the other side, the Voight side of things, they're going to go full villain, like full on villain, which is insane. Oh, man. I think now is the perfect time to go back and just rewatch all of the seasons, to get myself ready for this new one. But this one, it looks fantastic. I can't wait. It looks like it's going to be great. Is this supposed to be the final season also? I don't know. Let's see. Let's just read the description real fast here. In season 4, the world is on the brink. Victoria Newman is closer than ever to the Oval Office and under the muscly thumb of Homelander, who is consolidating his power. Butcher, with only months to live, has lost Becca's son and his job as the boys' leader. The rest of the team are fed up with his lies. With the stakes higher than ever, they have to find a way to work together and save the world before it's too late. So yeah. So again, we are in an election year, and I feel like this is perfect timing for this type of storytelling to be coming out. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That's so wow. Explosive. Maybe that's the best way to put it. That this is gonna be an explosive season, and I'm all in. I'm all for it. Yeah. I'm very curious what people are thinking about. But that trailer, for having just dropped, has already close to 4 million views. So I think it's safe to say that there are a lot of people who are really excited and can't wait to check this thing out. So let's see what other things. So the only other trailer that recently got released, and I'm not going to react to it now, but it's Cobra Kai. So the last season of Cobra Kai, which is season 4, I think, the 6th and final season of Cobra Kai is scheduled to come out this year. But the one thing that I was surprised about when they dropped kind of like this teaser trailer to season 6 was I didn't realize that they were going to split it up. We're used to seeing this sometimes happen, of seasons, especially final seasons, getting split up into 2 parts. You know, we've seen it happen with Stranger Things. We've seen it happen with Game of Thrones. So it's not something that is uncommon. But what they're doing here is that they're splitting up the season into 3 different releases, which is crazy. And that's what the trailer kind of announced, that they were splitting it into three different parts. First part was coming out in December. Second part, I believe, is coming out in March of next year. And then the third and final part is TBD of next year, which is nuts. So let's see here. Or maybe I got all the dates wrong. But let's recap what the dates are here, according to this article here. Netflix has announced that the 6th and final season of its celebrated Karate Kid spin-off Cobra Kai will be divided into 3 different parts of 5 episodes each. So we're getting 15 episodes for the final season. First 5 will launch on July 18th, the second on November 28th, and the last dub, the final event, will be in 2025 with a more specific date not yet locked in. So I was completely wrong. Everything I said about December of this year and March of next year, forget it. I am high off of my blue milk, and I am wrong. Sorry, guys. Let me continue reading. The new season picks up with Cobra Kai eliminated from the valley. Our senseis and students must decide if and how they will compete in the Sekai Taikai, the World Championships of Karate. The series is written by Josh Hield and John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossenberg. Also executive produces the series alongside Will Smith, blah, 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 blah. And it just kind of recaps who's involved in it all. And I know the reason why they're doing this too is because they kind of want to time it with the new movie coming out that they're working on, the new Karate Kid movie, which will see Daniel and Jackie Chan from the Jaden Smith Karate Kid teaming up together. So they're both going to appear in this movie, and we're going to get a new quote-unquote Karate Kid focused person. So the reason why I also think they're splitting it up is because they want to time it with the release of that movie. That's why part 3, the final epic part, has yet to be the date of it has yet to be determined, because I think they want to tie it as close as they can as possible to the release of the movie, which makes perfect sense to me. I totally understand that. So 15 episodes, man, that's going to be so epic. I cannot wait. Cobra Kai, and I've said this over time and time again, this is the one example of how you can bring something back from the past and reboot it in a way that pays homage to the original but keeps it as fresh as interesting for people like me who grew up with those properties, and be fresh and interesting for someone new who maybe never watched Karate Kid or any of the movies. I loved how they put that spin in the relationship and point of view of, you know, Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, and how it kind of gave more sympathy towards Johnny Lawrence by still, you know, putting out that he's an asshole and all that, you know, but he's a guy who's down on his luck and he's trying to just get his life back together. And at certain times, they even paint LaRusso as kind of the villain too, right? Which is one of those things that a lot of people have been kind of speculating from time to time. It's like, what if Daniel was actually the bad guy in the movies and we just looked at it differently, right? So I loved how they played on all that. Plus, with all the returns and the cameos that they were able to tie in throughout the run of this whole series, has been perfectly timed, brilliantly constructed, well written. You know, I can easily say that none of the seasons of Cobra Kai disappointed at all. And they're really going in like gangbusters on this final season, making it a 3-parter. So I cannot wait. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be kind of sad to see it go, but it's best to have it go with its head held high, so to speak, and then kind of bleed into and transition into the new movie, however or whatever that movie is going to be like. But I love the people that they have involved. So that's going to be really fun and interesting to check out when it's all said and done there. But yeah, if you haven't had a chance to see it, check out that new trailer for Cobra Kai, the little teaser for the 6th and final season. Last bit of news, because at least last bit of news I'll talk about today before I head on out and I enjoy the rest of my Star Wars day here. I've been having such a fun time hanging out with all of you guys, whether you're still watching or not. But there's a lot of things I do want to catch up on my end. But there's an article that came out, and it's interesting when you look at the landscape of the superhero movies, the comic book movies, and there's a lot of people, you know, nowadays saying that a lot of these movies are bombing. A lot of these movies are losing a lot of money for their studios, and most people aren't wrong. I mean, the amount of money that's spent on most of these movies is crazy. And one of the biggest surprises was when it was released or when it was leaked how much money was spent making Marvels, the budget for Marvels. I believe it was like a $250 million budget for a movie like that, which of course doesn't include marketing costs. It's just insane to me that a studio, that a production will feel it's okay to spend that much money on a movie like Marvels when it was kind of written on the wall that this movie is probably not going to do that great. Now, I also understand that the original Captain Marvel movie did a lot of money, right? But we're totally in a different landscape now. Not a lot of people are going to watch movies in theaters, and there is the ongoing thing about superhero fatigue, right? Which I do feel is true for some people. So this article here on Dark Horizons kind of covers the fact that Marvel's lost more money than The Flash. The Flash was another movie that had troubles, mainly because of its main star, you know, Ezra Miller, who got into so much controversy and trouble out in the public by doing his wacky stuff, right? And of course, for Warner Brothers to not even address it. as if they were working with him to make sure that it's swept under the rug and not even addressed or talked about. You know, and a lot of people were very upset and disappointed in how all of that was being treated. So of course, that led to people not wanting to watch the movie or not even caring about the movie in general, right? So when the movie came out, and look, I enjoyed The Flash. I thought The Flash was a decent movie. It was entertaining. I love the wacky ending of the multiverses, you know, seeing the Christopher Reeve Superman with the Helen Slater Supergirl. I loved having Keaton back as Batman, or a version of the Batman we knew back in '89. I loved the new Supergirl that we were introduced to. You know, again, a little nice homage to like all the Batmans from the past, like the Adam West. I loved even the cheesy, corny Nicolas Cage Superman, you know, with his crazy 90s outfit, fighting the spider that was speculated for so long. You know, I loved all that. Yeah, it was cheesy and corny, but I loved it. You know, the George Clooney coming up at the end as Bruce Wayne, it was, for me, it was fun. It's just mindless fun, right? And it was a proper way to kind of close out the old regime of the DCU. But it was speculated for a long time that it was a major bomb, because it was. I mean, not a lot of people went to see it. I was shocked with how little it did at the box office. I was expecting it to do so much more. And I think a lot of people, pundits and people who speculate on box office, were equally as shocked and surprised on how poorly it did at the box office. You know? So to hear that Marvel's lost more money than The Flash, again, I'm not surprised. But let's look at the details. You know, the devil's in the details, right? So as part of their annual box office tournament, look back at previous years, Deadline has announced that Marvel Studios' The Marvels was the biggest bomb of 2023. The trade indicates the film reportedly had a net loss of $237 million. Disney reportedly spent $270 million making the film, a further $110 million marketing it, and a further $21 million in residuals distribution expenses. Plus, on top of that, $54 million in interest and overhead, which equates to a total spent of $455 million for the Marvels. I want everyone to pay attention and focus on that particular saying right there, because that says a lot. That really says a lot. Because I hear always a lot of people who defend movies, or at least defend their movies that they love, saying, well, it made X amount of money, so it wasn't a bomb. But when you look at the details, of course it didn't do well, because there's a lot of things behind the scenes that you don't equate for when you think of budgets, right? I'm referring a lot currently right now to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. There's a narrative right now, and I only see it with a handful of Ghostbusters diehard, true hard fans, who are saying that Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is doing really well and performing really well at the worldwide box office. And that, oh, this is great for the franchise, and we could expect us to have a sequel, and you know, everything is all fine and dandy for Ghostbusters. I beg to differ. And I'm going to do this. Let's go look up Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And I'm on thenumbers.com. This is the site that I use for all box office related numbers and all that. All right. So while that loads up, I am also going to separately look at Ghostbusters Frozen Empire budget. Okay. All right. So as of right now, according to what I'm seeing online, that the estimated budget for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is $100 million. Okay. At the worldwide box office right now, the movie currently stands at 189 million, 189.1 million. So the narrative that I'm seeing online, and again, this is just a handful of Ghostbusters fans out there, the true hard diehard fans. They're saying, look at that. The budget was 100 million. It's made already close to 190 million. It's a success. Wrong. Because whenever you see budgets online, it doesn't ever equate marketing costs, licensing costs, residual stuff, everything that this article just laid out here when it comes to the Marvels. Look at that. Marketing, residual distribution expenses, interest on overhead. You have to think about all those things. That's why every time you hear about a budget, you always, the common thing that I do personally is that when I hear a certain budget for a movie, I think first I would tack on 50 million to that number, because usually that's average marketing costs for a movie. Now, in this case, they spent 270 million, but this is Disney and Marvel, right? But then you have to double that. So, for example, Frozen Empire, 100 million, tack on 50 million, so you have 150, double it, you have 300 million. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, in order for it to be a success, had to have made $300 million, in my opinion. It's only made 190. For me, that is a major bust for a movie like that. Now here, look at this. Disney spent 270 million making the film, right? Then you look at all the added stuff to it, right? They spent close to $500 million making this damn movie, which is crazy. And the article continues to say that revenue to the studio consisted of 88 million of the 206 million it made worldwide theatrically, along with 40 million from rentals and purchases and 90 million from streaming. That results in total revenue of 218 million. So you subtract that from the 450 million spent, hence the net loss of 237 million overall. Disney was able to get a 55 million subsidiary from the UK for filming there, so that could be subtracted, bringing it down to 182 million, meaning net loss. Even then, it's still clearly ahead of second place flop, The Flash, which had a net loss of 155 million, which still hurts. That still sucks. It costs 200 million to produce, 120 million to market, and then a further 85 million spent in residuals, distribution, expenses, interest, overhead. Final cost for a movie like The Flash was $405 million. Warner's made 115 million from the film's 271.3 million global theatrical haul, followed by 50 million from rentals and 85 million from TV and streaming. Final revenue, 250 million, and ultimately a 155 million loss, which is less than earlier estimates. In third place was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which had a $143 million loss. It had the biggest total spend on the list at $516 million, of which $300 million came from the production budget. Also making the list were two other Disney bombs, Wish, which lost him $131 million, and Haunted Mansion, which lost him $117 million. That's really sad for Haunted Mansion, because I'll be completely honest with you, that new Haunted Mansion movie was actually not that bad. It was fairly decent. I liked the acting in it. It got a lot of chuckles from me, and I thought it was pretty enjoyable. It was a good family film. But let's go back to that Indiana Jones. Holy cow. Total spend for Indiana Jones, 416 million. You should not, no studio should ever spend so much money, especially that much money, on anything. Especially in today's landscape. There's no way you could ever recuperate any of that. That's insane to me. And that hurts. And yet, people wonder why, the movie industry is suffering and why things aren't doing so well. because you have studios that are spending way too much money on their production, on their marketing, on their overhead. You know, that's why they got Bob Iger to go back to Disney and kind of like say, hey, we need to clean and button this stuff up because we're bleeding money right now. Add it up. Indiana Jones, $516 million. Then you have the Marvels, right? What is that? $455 million. So that's over $1 billion worth of spent for just 2 movies that ultimately bombed at the box office. I don't know how any studio honestly can survive with all that stuff. It's crazy. It is crazy. But I hope there are lessons to be learned here. And hopefully studios are going to be moving forward and course correcting as much as they can. But this is also a good lesson for those people who are championing their favorite movies out there under the guise and impression that those movies are being successful at the theaters when they're really not. You know, and I'm looking at all of you Ghostbusters Frozen Empire fans out there. Look, I love that you have the passion for that movie and the franchise, and I'm so happy that you all enjoyed it. Me personally, I was very disappointed about it. And I knew after seeing it that this is not going to go well for this movie. And look, congratulations that it's made $190 million, but that is way less than what they were supposed to make. And I'm pretty sure when they do this again next year, we're going to find out additional details about it. And it's going to come out that that movie ended up losing Sony a good chunk of change. And why it may, hinder us getting another movie in the future. I personally say that we should just focus on making it some sort of series, TV show. Maybe with how things are looking like, maybe Sony may end up buying Paramount. So we could see on Paramount Plus, Ghostbusters live there. Who knows? But this industry will not survive if spent continues to be that crazy and that insane. So on that note, I'm going to finish off this blue milk. And I am going to call it a day, y'all. It's been fun. Thank you for spending time with me on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed me making my blue milk, drinking my blue milk, having my entire mouth blue. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekends. I will be back live again on Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, with the morning after live stream, talking about weekend box office with the Fall Guys, see how that results are coming through. And I'll also use that time to talk about more of the news that I wasn't able to address from this past week, because there's always something to talk about. Always something to talk about. So with all that being said, oops, not that. Let's not do that one. There we go. Let's make it hip. Oh, by the way, Grogu, do you have any other thing to say to everybody as we leave? What's up, Grogu? Okay. In Grogu speak, that means have a wonderful weekend, have a lovely day. Okay. Indeed, yes. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. I will catch you all next time. Bye, everybody. Oops. Hold on. Bye. Peace, love, use the force. Bye, kindness.